Hello and welcome to the channel. Now, in a major development this week, Chinese app company TikTok announced that it will exit the Hong Kong market, and some other tech companies are also reviewing their positions or existence after this particular announcement by TikTok. And also I will discuss about the new Chinese security law that was enforced in Hong Kong in brief, and at last we will see how India can take any opportunity from this particular development. So let's begin. Now TikTok announced that it will exit from the Hong Kong market after China's new national security law came into effect on June 30th. Okay. So after the following the enforcement of a controversial security law in Hong Kong by China, a number of technology companies or tech companies including Facebook, Google and Twitter said that they have suspended processing data user requests from the Hong Kong police, and TikTok announced that it will entirely withdraw from the app market of Hong Kong and leave the market within days. Okay, as it can be seen here. Now let's see what is the marketing strategy or business strategy of TikTok. Now in this particular short form video app, that is TikTok, was launched by China based ByteDance for the users who are residing outside mainland China, and this is as a part of their strategy to grow the global existence or global business. Now ByteDance, the parent company, operates a similar short video sharing app in mainland China, and this is called Douyin. Now in this picture you can see this is the TikTok and this is the Chinese version, that is the Douyin. Now TikTok is not available in mainland China, but ByteDance has always had what is essentially a TikTok clone in China, and that is the Douyin. And this Douyin will continue to live in mainland China even as TikTok leaves the country. Right. So the reason ByteDance had these two separate apps in the first place is so the company could expand. So the company could operate both internally in its home country China while expanding the global business in the foreign markets as well. Now with TikTok leaving the Hong Kong, it gets to say that it is standing up against the new security law enforced in China, while its parent company ByteDance still grows in China or still gets to keep China people happy or Chinese authority happy, since the Douyin app is available in the country and has always abided by the Chinese rules. Right. So another reason which proves that TikTok's living in Hong Kong is said to be not as monumental as it seems is that TikTok had only just 150,000 users in Hong Kong, and that small change compared to its TikTok's global audience, that is 2 billion. So it is basically, in this point, it is signifying that TikTok will lose only 150,000 users if it leaves the Hong Kong market, but if it totally shuts its operation in the global market, it will lose around 2 billion of its global user base. So this particular exit of TikTok is not as monumental as they are trying to show the Chinese authority or the TikTok company. So what were the concerns about the TikTok previously? Now TikTok, which is owned by ByteDance, which is the world's most valuable startup, ByteDance, has raised some privacy concerns over its alleged links to the Chinese government. So it was alleged that this particular TikTok is transferring data or breaching the privacy of the users by having some link with the Chinese government. While TikTok has defended this criticism by maintaining the position that their data centers are located outside mainland China and none of its data is subjected to the Chinese law. Okay. However, the controversial national security law in Hong Kong has given Chinese authorities a sweeping new powers. We will see what are the powers of the Chinese authorities in Hong Kong. Now there is another news of this particular company TikTok hiring the Disney chairman Kevin Mayer in the month of May, and this particular move of TikTok is widely seen as a move to win over the Washington. That is to say, it tries to appease the US audience or US government by hiring the former Disney chairman Kevin Mayer. So let's see what is the new security law in Hong Kong in brief. Now in this map you can see the position of the Hong Kong in Asia, and this is India, this is mainland China, and Hong Kong is situated here. So in area, if it is just a fraction of the total whole mainland of China. So the Hong Kong, formerly a British colony, was handed over to mainland China in the year of 1997, and this Hong Kong was governed by a mini constitution which is called the Basic Law, and this Basic Law makes it clear that Hong Kong's Legislative Council or LegCo, which is nothing but a Parliament of Hong Kong, say, and this LegCo has the authority to make and repeal the laws in Hong Kong. And since 1997, Hong Kong's residents have protested many times to protect their basic law freedoms, and in 2003 the first major pro-democracy protest took place in Hong Kong when the authority or the government tried to enforce a law, try to enforce this particular new security law by legislation, that is by making the law passed in the Parliament or the LegCo, but it failed. Now in 2014, over 1 lakh city residents took part in the Umbrella Revolution to protest against China's denial of democratic reforms in Hong Kong. Now again in 2019, the largest protest till now took place against the proposed extradition law and continued the pro-democracy marches in the country even after the legislation was withdrawn. So time and again we were seeing that the Chinese government is trying to enforce the particular new security law by the channel of passing the law in legislation or the LegCo, but it is failing due to the massive protest. Now the Chinese government always wanted this LegCo or the parliament to pass the new legislation as soon as possible, because it is afraid that if this LegCo comes under control of the Democrats after the elections later in, which is scheduled to happen in later part of 2020, then it will be very hard to implement this particular law. So that is why Beijing or the Chinese government has bypassed the LegCo as it chooses to and make the national security law applicable to Hong Kong by inserting this legislation in Annex 3 of the Basic Law. So there is a mandate or there is a way which is said to be the Annex 3 of the Basic Law. Let's see what is it. Yeah. Under the Article 18 of the Basic Law, the national laws can be applied in Hong Kong if they are placed in Annex 3 of this particular Article 18. And this particular national law must confine to the defense, foreign affairs and the matters which are outside the limit of this autonomy of the region. That means the government or the Chinese authority can enforce a law by bypassing the LegCo, if it puts the particular law into the Annex 3 of the Article 18 of the Basic Law. So this is the path that the Chinese authorities or Chinese government took this time. Now once listed in this Annex 3, the national laws can be enforced in the city by way of promulgation. Promulgation is nothing but a process to bypass the parliament or LegCo, and this is what the Chinese authorities has did this time. Now the new legislation greatly expands Beijing's power in Hong Kong. The legislation would pave the way for the Beijing to set up national institutions in Hong Kong. And this particular new law includes the following as offences: secession, subversion, terrorist activities and collusion with foreign country or with external elements to endanger national security. Now these are the main four offences which are seen by the Chinese authorities as the offences, as the major offence, and it will invite life imprisonment as a maximum punishment, and it may be followed by a lesser penalties as well. Now Hong Kong's freedoms will be compromised, as the law could effectively bring the city under the full control of mainland China. This is why the protest is so much in Hong Kong, because it is totally undermining the freedom of the normal people of the Hong Kong. Now this new law would ban seditious activities that target mainland Chinese rule, as well as punish the external interference in Hong Kong. Right. That means China don't want any external interference in their country, or any kind of outside or any other country should interfere into the matters of China. China don't want it simply. That is why they are putting this particular law or enforcing the law into its whole territory. Now it's Hong Kong as well. Previously this Hong Kong was outside the purview of Chinese government. There is some different law, or the basic law, which was there in Hong Kong, but this time they have totally bypassed it and enforced a new law. So let's see, coming back to our topic, that what are other companies to follow and what is the case. Now this under the new national security law, now internet service provider companies and individuals as well had to remove or stop access to online content which are deemed dangerous for the national security. So it basically means that if internet providers or individuals or any public is putting some online content which may undermine the national security, they will be forced to very serious punishments. Now with a court warrant, the police can seize the electronic devices. Failure to comply can invite hefty fine. That is around this is said to be Hong Kong dollar of around $1 lakh in Hong Kong money, Hong Kong dollar, which is around in rupees, if I say, it will be around 97 lakhs. 97 lakh. So this much will be the fine if someone someone violates the law, and there will be imprisonment as well for 1 year, and the internet providers will also be punished with the same amount, this much, and there will be imprisonment of 6 months of the company officials. Now the Chinese authorities have been explicitly given the power to jail those who refuse to provide user data. Now, fearing all these, Facebook, WhatsApp, Twitter, Google and Telegram have all announced this week that they are also making changes to their operations in Hong Kong. Right. They are also in Hong Kong after the new security law came into force in June 30th. Now, Facebook and Google have currently adopted a wait and watch policy, and they are facing very difficulty in their operations. Now, what is this wait and watch policy? Now, if they operate or continue to operate in Hong Kong, they would be going against the prevailing political climate at home, that is in USA. They would be going against the prevailing political climate in home, that is USA. Now in USA, it is the local government, that is the Trump government, is already waging some cold war with China. So if it follows the Hong Kong's Chinese new policy in Hong Kong, it would be going against the US's policy. Now in case they refuse to comply with the Hong Kong authorities, their employees who are working with them, that is the Facebook and Google, they will be facing harassment, and they will be stopped to transit it through its border, could face detention in the Hong Kong, could face detention over the data sharing requests. So right now they are following a wait and watch policy. Now Facebook, Twitter and Google said they would stop processing Hong Kong government requests for user data while they carry out an assessment of the new security law. So the companies, the international companies who are mainly based on US, they are facing a dilemma or facing a difficult situation in operating in Hong Kong, specifically after the enforcement of the new security law. So this is the problem. So let's see what is the opportunity for India in this development. Now, as we know, India has banned the TikTok and 59 other Chinese apps, saying that they are posing threat to the sovereignty and integrity of the nation. Now the ban follows broader. The ban is basically followed by. The ban is basically due to the escalating tensions between the two countries in form of the border clash in the Ladakh region recently. Now India has been the biggest driver of the new TikTok downloads, generating close to around 660 million of installs since its launch in 2017. So India was a major market for TikTok, and it lost 660 million installations were happened in since the 2017 year. Thus the recent ban is a good opportunity for Indian entrepreneurs or businessmen to quickly rise to fill the particular market gap which has been created by the exodus of these 59 Chinese apps. Which will create many job opportunities for the youth, which is currently facing a lot of job crisis. Now, with the world today recognizes that next source of economic growth lies in the digital economy, and given its raw material being data, thereby whoever decides the standards and builds the electronic backbone will have the enormous advantage over the other. This statement basically means that in modern times the digital economy is thriving. And in digital economy the data is the raw material, and the particular countries whoever will develop new technologies or new new electronic backbone, they will have enormous advantage in the coming years. Thus India must speed up the indigenization, research and development, that is R&D, do some R&D, and frame up a new regulatory architecture to claim data sovereignty. That is to say, the nation must build a new Atmanirbhar Bharat. Okay. So this is all about this development, and I thank you for your time. Thanks.